Overall, I think we're missing sports. And I mean, the UFC gave us some sports news today too.
Hmm.
And just right before we got on, really, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title. Now, what do you think about that?
I think it's interesting that it's a title fight. I think that's pretty crazy, and I think it's pretty fair. And I imagine the winner of this gets the title and gets to fight Khabib next. I'd imagine. So I think that if you're Tony and you lose here
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get that fight against Khabib,
Mm-hmm.
that's a loss for UFC fans. That's a loss for Tony. That's a lot. I really, because as cursed as that fight is,
Yep.
people have been dying to see it for years now. Like, it's just been so, like, I'm so frustrated because this is kind of, this is them throwing the towel in on the Khabib Tony for this round. We're gonna have to make another pass at it, which is not the news I necessarily wanted. But the fact that we're having a fight and the fact that Tony is going to be in the ring pretty soon, that's exciting. And Khabib had he was pretty funny in that one tweet where he was saying, "Well, I'm shut down in Russia," and everybody's saying, "Well, Khabib's you're a you lost this, you're conceding, Tony kind of played Tony, and he said, well, I guess Khabib is bowing out. And then Conor McGregor, did you see Conor McGregor's tweet?
No, I didn't.
So he basically said, okay, so for the 5 times that they've almost had this fight, Conor did the scoring. Well, 3 of them, Tony, or it was Khabib's fault. 2 of them, it was on Tony. So, and then Conor's like, well, I'm going to come in as judge and raise Tony's hand and say he's the winner. Expert level trolling from Conor McGregor, and Tony played into that. Like, he's the one that kind of got that ball rolling, and like, he threw up the ball. Conor just knocked it out of the park. It's all a lot of fun and games. And Khabib hit him back with Khabib was like, well, I will sneak, like, I am stuck in Russia right now by under order of law. I will smuggle myself out of Russia. I just need to know where we're fighting. And that was the
and that is so fair because they still haven't disclosed the location
yeah, exactly.
yet. It got announced tonight at an undisclosed location. So at the end of the day, it's still, you can't blame Khabib for this.
No, you cannot blame Khabib, and you can't blame Tony and Conor for doing what Tony and Conor do. It's all part of the it's half of the game. The trash talk and the Twitter battles and all of that. So, like, it's just, I think it's a lot of fun for UFC fans. At the end of the day, all this stuff. It's a real big shame, though, that we're not going to be seeing Tony and Khabib in the ring anytime soon.
And even so, like, this fight, normal circumstances, I think it's going to be a great fight. But normal circumstances, this is a very exciting fight.
Yeah.
2 guys that are just going to go in there and throw. But if you're Justin Gaethje, you're taking this fight 2 weeks' notice. I mean, realistically, he's probably sitting here 3 weeks because he kind of would have had an idea last week.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks' notice, cut weight, train in a situation where you're not going to be able to train with other people, and make the fight on weight in condition where you don't know where it is.
And
I don't know where he's based out of, but I'm guessing, like, the rumors that it's going to happen on the West Coast is, what if he's on the East Coast? Yeah. First of all, how are you even getting over there? Second of all, like, how are you getting on weight, and how are you going to be somewhat, like, he's always going to be in shape, but, like, you're not working with other people right now.
And the whole time you're doing that weight cut, you have this hanging over your head that there's a good chance that this does not happen. Like, you get a phone call, like, you just made your weight cut. You get a phone call, say, hey, look, the so-and-so state commission has pulled the plug. This is done. There's just so many things that could happen there.
And with somebody like Tony, who you're not going to put Tony away.
No.
Early. Like, Justin's not going to go in there and just blitz him in the first couple minutes, put him away. You're going to get taken into deep waters. It's going to be a 5-round fight, and you're going to get into the 4th and 5th off a really short weight cut, and you're going to be absolutely gassed.
Yeah, Tony's, even if you, like, for guys that go late in fights, Tony goes late in a fight, but he's running around the ring. Like, you're going to have to be chasing Tony all over the octagon. He's going to be doing backwards somersaults everywhere. You're going to be chasing after him. Man, like, you do a full camp and you're gassed at the end of that,
Yeah. And Tony Ferguson training for this fight Tony's always been a little bit of a loner. You see him training all the time by himself. So this isolation will not have hurt Tony at all in his preparation.
No,
it was probably just normal preparation for him. So he's going to this fight like completely normal, full training camp, expecting to fight Khabib, for Christ's sakes. And now now you're stepping down short notice. So I think like the odds came out at Tony, like right before I came on and checked the odds, they were minus 170 for Tony Ferguson. I think that is like, I'm probably gonna hammer that right as soon as we get off this podcast. Like I think that is like such good. I would put Tony at minus 300 minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, those are great odds, and I think those are going to swing the closer we get to this fight. I think it's
because the sharp money is going to come in on Tony.
Yeah, sharp money. Obviously, Tony. Like, it's going to be very tough for Gaethje. It's going to be very tough, and you know, I was the one saying that Tony has a shot to beat Khabib. So now it's like go up and again. Now you've just gotten, so for Tony, I mean, this is a pretty lucky turn of events almost, because you get to basically say that I was not the one that got the Khabib fight canceled again, and you get to fight for a belt, a much deserved for Tony Ferguson, who's kind of been waiting in the wings for a while.
I mean, but you say that too. He's already had the interim once, and they just straight stripped it from him. You'd like to see that this time, if he wins it, they don't strip it. But so, like, if you're Tony, it's almost frustrating again. Where you going? I'm getting another interim belt. Really? I never lost my first one.
But you know, the thing is, like, Tony's the guy to break, like, go to a pre-fight press conference away and have his interim belt and be like, you cannot take this away from me, and like up with Khabib, who has the literal belt, and he has his interim belt, and he's like, yeah, my belt's just as good as your belt. Like, that is Tony. So if he has two of them, if he gets two interim belts, it's not going to matter without the fact that it's an interim belt. He's just going to be, they're going to be normal belts to him. You know, so he's going to be out here flexing nonetheless, you know.
And that'll be a sick press conference for if Tony wins for Khabib. Tony scheduled number 6 when Tony's up there with 2 belts and Khabib's got his 1.
And they puts him on the ground. Kick 2 of them now. Use both your legs, Khabib. Come on, like.
Yeah, and then Khabib will tear his hammy kicking them, and then we'll have to schedule number 7.
Yeah. And at that point we just call it quits on that, because God's trying to send us a message here or something. Like,
and that's if Dana White just doesn't put Conor McGregor into the next title fight just because he wants to make money.
Yeah. Well, you know, you never know how long Russia's going to be locked down, you know, so...
well, who the hell knows how long this is going to last to begin with? Like, I don't know if you saw in China today, they opened up a national park and let 20,000 people in.
National park?
Yeah, some national park in China had 20,000 people in it. Like, this shit ain't ending anytime soon.
Well, China's trying to be like, look, guys, like, we opened up our national park, like, we're doing fine. This is not that big of a deal. Like, meanwhile, they're just getting like, everybody's getting infected in the woods.
Yeah, get your shit together. We gotta watch our sports.
Yeah, like, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Where do you think UFC 249? Where do you think it happens? Because undisclosed location so far. Where do you think it happens?
I think it happens in the WWE Apex, in their headquarters.
How sick would that be? How sick would that be? Yo, the thing is though, I can't. Like, Vince McMahon would ask so much money from Dana White. And Dana White is not giving that over.
No, not to Vince McMahon. Like, they would. But Vince is like, hey Dana, like, we just had an event last weekend. It went pretty well. Like, we were allowed to do it. Like, come on. You know, because
Dana White's just gonna be like, fuck you, you took Brock Lesnar from me again.
Yeah. Yeah, you take Brock Lesnar from him only for him to lose.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get into that for a bit?
Well, first off, before we get into that, how lucky is John Jones that there's like big UFC news now that Dana White came out with this card?
So lucky, but I will say one thing: like, he's so lucky, but he's still so dumb. Did you see the video he posted literally a couple days ago?
No.
Of a toilet paper challenge. He's in his backyard, and he has like toilet paper on the other end against the fence, like against this like target with like a bow and arrow and an arrow through it. And he's on the other side with this big bow and arrow and he shoots it. And I'm like, normal-ish video, kind of strange doing this in your backyard. I'm sure he's rich enough that he's in some secluded area. It's like, man, you just got like a DWI and then you're shooting a bow and arrow in your backyard.
Like, wait, is he shooting toilet paper?
Yeah.
Man, that's just not like, you can't do that these days.
Yeah,
it's like burning a $50 bill.
Yeah, so it's like, use your head, man. So I mean, but nobody's talking about him anymore. So it is good, and it's like, if UFC, like they should come down with a suspension. Like, you're suspended 6 months because they're not fighting in the next 6 months anyway.
Yeah,
and so it saves them face, like, hey, we suspended him. And then he's not it long.
Yeah. Well,
but actually, wasn't he on like a 1-year probation? Do you think he could even fight?
No, he was off his probation. Like the story.
I thought I saw it was a year.
I heard differently. I heard from Chael that it was different. But I will take Chael over any news source
in
the world. But
fair enough.
But it's unfortunate. I mean, like, we don't really, other than talking about him shooting toilet paper in his backyard, like, there's nothing to contribute to the conversation about Jon Jones. No. But normally, like, in this situation like this, where all sports are canceled and a bombshell like this happens, like this story, this doesn't leave the news for a while. But yet, I mean, Dana White came in, played savior. Well, that was probably not the intent. Like, he definitely just had this news. Like, we gotta come up with a card. We gotta come up with somebody for Tony to fight. But it just kind of works out in the UFC and Jon Jones's favor in that all the UFC heads have something interesting to talk about that's not Jon Jones getting arrested.
Yeah, no, works out perfect for him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, do you want to move on to the?
Thanks for watching that YouTube clip, which was taken from our full show, Big Game Talk with Brad and Chris. If you want to check out the show and give it a listen, you can find us wherever you find your podcasts.
And if you want to watch some more YouTube clips where we talk about all your favorite sports, click any of these boxes here or check the link in the description. Thanks and have a great day.